talk about ESSPs for a moment. I'm going to give you the quick 4 characteristics of ESSPs, and then I'm going to tell you how this relates to you and your industry. ESSPs are social. We all are familiar with Facebook, live feed. I get proactive updates. I'm encouraged to participate, and for very little effort on my part, I can stay in touch with a lot of people. The second characteristic of ESSPs is that we're moving from channels to platforms. What are channels? Channels are private communications, email, texting, some forms of IM. They are private, and in certain circumstances should be used because for certain reasons people want their conversations to be private. But the problem with private communication is it's not consultable and it's not viewable by other people. We're moving in Web 2.0 to more platform. We're all familiar with the platform, the website. The website is a platform that's viewable by all. The only limitation to the website is that it's static. Now we're moving to more universal, what I would call universal platforms, blogs, wikis, Facebooks, and Twitters. What's really cool about these universal platforms is I no longer have to know HTML. I don't even have to be tech savvy. I can start a blog in 5 minutes. You can start a blog in 5 minutes. The third characteristic of ESSPs is that they don't impose structure. To date, technology has been used in corporations to impose structure. And at times that is necessary, because if we want things to be done a certain way, then we need a lot of upfront structure. But is that always the way to do things? Are there circumstances where we don't need to impose structure? Wikipedia is an online encyclopedia. I think we're all familiar with it. Has anyone heard of Newpedia? One person, my professor. Do you want to know why you haven't heard of Newpedia? Because it was a flop. But Newpedia was the original idea of a free online encyclopedia. Sanger in Wales, who started Wikipedia, started with Newpedia. Newpedia had a huge imposed upfront structure where you had to go through this elaborate amount of peer review editing process. There were 7 steps. Not only that, the decision rights were held to only people who had PhDs. Of course, the idea being here that they wanted legitimate work to be posted on this online website. But what it did was, after 18 months of being open, only 12 articles were published. Nobody wanted to put in all the work. So at the point of being almost, well, it was $250,000 that they were in the hole, and 12 articles to show for it, Sanger and Wales were desperate, and that's when they got introduced to the wiki. What's a wiki? A wiki is a platform where anyone and everyone can edit. Yes, you don't have to be, you don't have to hold a PhD. It's completely and utterly egalitarian, okay? And anyone can participate in this. And so they said, well, we're desperate, so we'll start Wikipedia where anyone and everyone can add content, and maybe we'll get some articles going. Well, it worked. 2001, January 15th is when Wikipedia started. By the end of the month, they had over 600 articles. Today, Wikipedia has over 15 million articles. 3.3 of them are in English. The fourth characteristic of ESSPs is that they contain mechanisms within them that let structure emerge. This term called emergence, it's defined as a global structure that starts to emerge when you have private interactions or small local interactions. And as a result of those small local interactions, we have a larger global interaction, or a global structure that emerges from it. Another example of that is delicious.com. Anybody have a delicious.com account or use that? My professor. Delicious.com it's a bookmarking website. Okay? It allows you to bookmark pages that you like. Okay? A way to categorize for yourself. The beauty of it is it's completely unstructured. You can tag, call it tagging, bookmarking, tagging. You can tag something and name it whatever you want it to. And you would think this would create chaos amongst the web. How would any order or design come from this? But what happened is people start tagging things the same names. And those tags become popular. And the way Delicious takes advantage of this is they create tag clouds. If this was my tag cloud, then the red would be the things that I have tagged. So I can quickly see the most popular tags, and from the tag cloud, the larger texts are the more popular tags. And from any of these are all links. From any of these, I can click on that, and I can quickly find out what other people who are similar to me have tagged, and find out the websites that they tagged and why they named them the same thing as me. Of course, you notice there at the top right the tags blog, blogging, and blogs. I'm sure they're all referencing the same thing. A little bit cumbersome, but that's okay. People are willing to deal with it because they can create their own structure.